What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back and with a new video. And it is time that we discuss the most critical election of not only 2023, but of 2024 and for the next couple of years. The 2023 Wisconsin Supreme Court race. It's been a little bit since we discussed it because we're waiting for things to happen, and well, things have happened since the last video, and it's time everybody and their mother on the right focuses on winning this election. I don't care if you hate Trump, hate Ron DeSantis, hate Ted Cruz, hate Phil Scott, hate Chris Christie. It doesn't matter. This is our focus right now, all right? I made videos, yes, not focusing on it, but my general focus has always been on this race. Why do you think I've not been bashing other people that much? I've been focused on this race. And it's time, the next couple of weeks, you'll see a lot of videos about this ever-critical Supreme Court race. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter account in the description down below, and join the channel today. Guys, just for $3 a month, you can join Real American Politics, which is a phenomenal deal to help support the daily content we all know and love. You love that daily content? Well, this is the best way to support it. So I hope you join today. Alright, let's get into it. The most critical Supreme Court race potentially ever. This race could single-handedly decide the future of Wisconsin. Now, before we get into what's happened since, it's a quick recap. So, it is between the leftist Janet, I'm not going to try to say her last name, I always butcher it, and the conservative candidate Daniel Kelly. Now, people immediately thought this race was impossible for Republicans to win. For whatever reason, it's like, you seriously think this is an unwinnable race? But they said, oh, well, you see, the liberals combined for 54% of the vote, or whatever it was. Sure, they did combine for 54% of the vote. However, we have a history to say you can't just base your entire election predictions based off primary results. Yes, there's some states you can, but a nonpartisan race like this, you really can't. And we've had some positive developments since the primary. Now, of course, the Republican Party and Jennifer Doral have all united behind Daniel Kelly. Scott Walker's getting involved, Tom Tiffany, Scott Presser, we'll get to that in a minute. They are putting the team on their backs, trying to get Kelly over the hump. While the entire left sphere has all united behind Janet. And of course, you see a big name up here, Hillary Clinton. Now, if you live in Wisconsin undecided, I would point to this. The lady that has never won a statewide race in Wisconsin, she lost both of her primaries in Wisconsin and the general election. She isn't that well liked here. And she is going around saying, I vehemently support the liberal candidate here. Well, this is usually a kiss of death, especially in Wisconsin, in the Midwest. But either way, there are some major developments happening. Now, people are saying that the ad spending is getting out of control, that the Democrats have already won. First of all, the people pushing this narrative that leftists have already won this race because of ad spends are leftists, so I wouldn't put that much weight into it. And second of all, yes, Democrats have outspent conservatives by, I would say, 2-to-1 margins. They've doubled our ad spend. Now, it's been shrinking by the day, which many people have seemingly ignored about, but every single day we're hearing more and more groups piling on to help Daniel Kelly. Plus, there's a reason that the Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce spent $3.4 million. They did an internal poll, and from what I heard, there's a reason they're spending, because they're like, oh crap, Kelly has a serious shot at this race. Fair Courts America has spent a lot more. Now, Kelly's campaign hasn't spent anything on ads. While Janet's campaign, they've spent every nickel and dime on ads, which that may not be the way to go here, because Daniel Kelly's campaign itself and other outside groups like Americans for Prosperity, they have focused heavily on a ground game. The ground game I have seen in Wisconsin is unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, people are knocking on doors like crazy. Campaign literature's going through the county parties like wildfire. They're running out of campaign signs and literature for Kelly. It's like, yeah, compare that to Janet's people, who I've barely seen a Janet volunteer. I've still yet to see one, and it's like, okay, are they seriously trying to do the Joe Biden strategy of hiding in the basement, pray they win? It's like, it may have worked a couple times, but it's like, Republicans are starting to catch on with the early voting shenanigans and other related deals. So the ground game, I think, actually evens out this ad spending, because when you account for the amount of money that's going on for the ground game, I would say it's about even. Plus, we have other outside groups that are going to spend a bit more. We just got to see what happens. But overall, I would say this is 100% a toss-up. People are saying it's a Janet plus 15 seat. It's like, no. Sure, she may be a favorite right now, but by a couple points, not 15. And from internal polling we have heard and seen, according to sources, Janet had an internal poll had her up by 10 in early March. A couple days ago, Kelly's campaign had an internal, had him down only by 4. So her lead has been cut in half. But the big thing, you notice how Janet's at 46.5%? In both internals, she was stuck at 45%. And Republicans or liberals are saying, well, Daniel Kelly is still losing. He has to make up the undecideds. So far, the undecided voters have been breaking for Kelly. So yeah, it's overall been a solid, I would say solid momentum for Kelly's campaign. Now, I'm not saying we're 100% going to win. And it's time we focus on how can you help Daniel Kelly. It's time we stop all this talk, this bickering, this crap. And it's time we get boots on the ground and let's make sure Daniel Kelly wins. So, first of all, if you live in Wisconsin, I recommend you tell people that you know that can vote and are undecided, or just anybody. Tell them about these two stories that have surfaced today. One, a former stepson says Janet repeatedly assaulted an elderly judge. Now, if you don't know, apparently she was married to an old judge that was like 70 years old and she was like 34. And well, she assaulted her badly. Very bad. And it's like, we can't have this crap on the Supreme Court. So that's the first thing. Second thing, they have witnesses saying flat out, on record, Janet used the N-word, racial slur, to refer to blacks in Milwaukee. And this wasn't, quoting, some kind of decision like, oh, the X decision with the X decision. It's like, no. She flat out described black kids that lived in Milwaukee with the racial slur. It's like, that's not a good thing for somebody on the Supreme Court about. And it's not like she was quoting somebody. She allegedly described black children in Milwaukee like that. It's like, jeez, we cannot have this on the Supreme Court. But there is a way for you guys to help. Again, you could tell people about all the stuff she has been doing in the past. But there's been a secret weapon the Republicans, or I should say the right, has unleashed on Wisconsin. A weapon that's been hiding for many years now. Well, I wouldn't say hiding. He's been barnstorming America, but he's really shining in Wisconsin. Scott Presler. He is putting the team on his back in Wisconsin. Now, if you don't know who Scott Presler is, he is arguably the king of voter turnout and registered voters. He is the definition of a door-to-door guy. He can get people out to vote and registered. In the past couple of months, he's been shifting his focus more on early voting, getting people out to vote as early as possible. The whole point is you want to bank in as many votes as you can before Election Day. Because with Election Day, we saw what happened in Nevada, what we saw happen in Arizona. It's like, we have to bank in so many votes beforehand so weather doesn't happen, like a snowstorm in the middle of freaking Waukesha, stuff like that. That's what he's been pushing. Now, he's been pushing some phenomenal ideas I never even thought of doing. For example, here, he says flat out, push Wisconsin voters to the polls from the comfort of your home. On Facebook, click on the magnifying glass and type Wisconsin gun owners into the search box, or any other group. Join groups or pages that reply to supporters' comments reminding them to vote for Justice Daniel Kelly on April 4th. Yeah, you can, in fact, from the comfort of your own home, without even calling anybody, you can help Daniel Kelly win in a couple weeks by going to these Facebook groups that are, gun owners, pro-life groups, law and order groups, whatever. And just do this, all right? You see it right here. This is what Suppressor did. If you care about gun rights, please make a plan to vote for Justice Daniel Kelly on April 4th. This is a must-win election. You can find out more information at the myvote.wisconsin.gov. This is freaking genius. So if you don't live in Wisconsin and you're not comfortable talking to people through phones, I recommend you do what Presser recommended. Ever since then, go to all these Facebook groups that are conservative leaning, they've been flooded with it. Flooded with, make your plans to vote for Kelly on April 4th or beforehand, etc., etc. But again, if you are in Wisconsin or, in Minnesota and want to help us, I will leave links in probably the top right corner about how you can help us win the state of Wisconsin. We need to win this. This is absolutely a must win. And we need old boots on the ground, door knocking, telling people get out to vote, and telling people who this clown is. She is not some independent-minded, liberal. She openly said, the maps are rigged, we're going to overturn the maps. You know what that means? That means all the elections are just fake because the maps are rigged. It's like, really? She's not impartial. She has already commented on the issue of redistricting, which is a big no-no for the Supreme Court. And plus, if you love gun rights, if you love being pro-life, etc., etc., she is the anti-gun, anti-pro-life candidate. So, if you live in Wisconsin or want to help support Daniel Kelly, I will leave links in the description or in the top right corner showing you guys how you guys can help us win in the state of Wisconsin. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. It's time we assemble like Endgame, all the Avengers assemble to fight Thanos. This is essentially that situation. This is a must win. Also, if you can't donate to Daniel Kelly, I'll leave all those links everywhere. So yeah, thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.